Our story begins in an eerie, empty theater late at night, where Abigail, a dedicated and talented ballerina, practices her routine in silence. Unbeknownst to her, a group of criminals is meticulously planning a heist. Meanwhile, a sniper climbs onto her roof, waiting for the signal to execute their plan. As Abigail finishes her practice and exits the theater, her driver awaits her outside. She gets into the car, unaware that the criminals have placed a tracker under it. As the car moves, the kidnappers follow closely. The hacker remotely opens the doors to Abigail's house, allowing 3 criminals to slip inside and hide in her bedroom. One of the women in the group hesitates, uncomfortable with the plan to kidnap a child, but the rest insist on sticking to the script. When Abigail arrives home, she heads straight to her bedroom and lies down. The criminals seize their chance. A man tries to hold her down, but Abigail fights back, stabbing his hand with a pencil. Another man quickly overpowers her, covering her mouth to stifle her screams. The woman then sedates Abigail, putting her to sleep. Outside, the rest of the team spots an approaching car, prompting them to hurry. They place Abigail into a bag and escape through a window, crossing the garden and reuniting with the sniper. Alarms blare, but they manage to flee just in time. During the ride to their hideout, they check Abigail's pulse and blindfold her. They approach a traffic jam, so the hacker directs the driver to take an alternate route, leading them behind a large truck. They finally arrive at an old, abandoned mansion on the city's outskirts. There they meet Lambert, the mastermind behind the operation. Lambert lays down the rules: no names, no personal stories, and no inappropriate behavior. It's a 24-hour job until they get the $50 million ransom from Abigail's wealthy father. Settling into the mansion, the criminals begin to relax. Joey, one of the kidnappers, refuses to share her candy with Dean, who then tries to guess everyone's backstories but fails. Joey mocks him, and, using her keen observational skills, correctly identifies everyone's past. Frank was a detective, Peter a mob enforcer, Sammy the wealthy hacker, Rickles a marine sniper, and Dean, the sociopathic driver. Frank deduces that Joey is a recovering addict. Joey checks on Abigail, who is now awake and uncomfortable. Abigail complains about the tight blindfold and handcuffs, so Joey adjusts them and reassures her that they won't hurt her, they just want the ransom. Abigail, in a moment of vulnerability, makes Joey promise not to harm her and reveals that her father doesn't care about her. Concerned, Joey shares this with Frank, but he dismisses it as a manipulative tactic. Frank learns something that makes him panic. Abigail's father is Christophe Lazare, a notorious and dangerous crime boss. He insists they need to leave immediately, sparking a heated argument within the group. Despite their fear, they decide to stay and see the ransom through, hoping the money will help them disappear and start new lives. As the group prepares for a long night, Joey and Rickles team up, agreeing to watch each other's backs. Sammy, exploring the mansion, stumbles upon a creepy room filled with old photos, including one of a girl who looks strikingly like Abigail. Meanwhile, Dean, always the troublemaker, starts pulling pranks, drawing on Peter's face while he sleeps. As Dean explores the basement, he's suddenly attacked by an unseen force. Sammy hears his screams and rushes to help, only to find Dean's headless body at a table. The group is horrified and begins to suspect they're dealing with something more than just a kidnapping. They recall stories of Lazare's hitman, Valdez, known for his brutal and mysterious killings. Panic sets in as they realize they're trapped inside the mansion with its fortified doors and windows. Joey confronts Abigail, who reveals that her father's man Valdez is indeed behind this, and he's already inside the mansion. The situation escalates when they find Rickles dead, severely injured by an unknown assailant. Joey, now convinced of Abigail's innocence, focuses on protecting her, while the group turns on each other in fear and suspicion. Frank, desperate to maintain control, accuses Joey of being manipulated by Abigail. The tension reaches a breaking point when Abigail reveals her true nature. She's not just a helpless child, she's a vampire. Abigail attacks Peter, and despite being shot by Frank and Joey, she heals instantly and continues her assault. The group's weapons are useless, and they're forced to retreat and rethink their strategy. They decide to use the sedative that initially subdued Abigail. As they search for her, Sammy falls into a pool filled with rotting bodies, barely escaping with her life. Abigail continues her attack, using her vampire powers to overpower the group. Frank and Joey manage to inject her with the sedative, but not before she reveals that she planned the entire kidnapping with Lambert's help. Lambert, also a vampire, confronts Joey and Frank, revealing his betrayal and the true danger therein. He proposes turning Frank into a vampire to help him kill both Abigail and Lazar. Frank agrees, and Lambert begins the transformation process. Joey watches in horror as Frank transforms. Then Lambert orders him to kill Joey. But Frank, now a vampire, turns on Lambert and kills him instead. Abigail, weakened but still dangerous, teams up with Joey to fight Frank. Despite their combined efforts, Frank's new vampire strength proves too much. In a final act of desperation, Joey uses sunlight to weaken Abigail, who then sacrifices herself to give Joey a chance to escape. Joey, now alone, calls her son, leaving a heartfelt message before she's confronted by Lazar. Abigail's father spares Joey's life as a token of gratitude for helping his daughter. Joey escapes the mansion, driving away with a sense of relief.